As is usually the case in Georgia, now that Christmas is over, the real winter is starting to set in. We have snow in the forecast for this weekend. Shouldn't be anything more than a dusting, if that, but the temps are definitely resembling winter for us anyways. I know a lot of places get much colder, but here in Georgia that means 30s, around 30 for, the low, which really probably isn't all that cold to some people, but as with most of the southern United States, I think we all understand that with the threat of potential snow is not really our concern. We're excited for snow. We sleep with spoons under our pillow and our pajamas on backwards as kids and sometimes as adults because we rarely see that snow. We're excited about it, but for us it's more so the ice element that comes with it, the way that our roads and our utilities just really aren't equipped to handle those kind of conditions. And everybody knows of the big ice apocalypse, I believe it was called, a few years ago, where people were like having babies out on the highway. They were stranded there for 8, 12, 16 hours. I don't know, it was something insane. And that's just a really good picture of what it's like here. If you're not around here, I know that a lot of people look at us and they're like, you seriously had that much of an issue over like an inch of snow and ice? But listen, it's just not what we do, okay? It's just not what we do. And so with that, I'm trying to make necessary preparations around our home, just in case we were to lose power. Just make sure that we have good heat source, good water, food stock, all of the things in order to keep us not only safe, but also comfortable. It was one thing whenever it was just my husband, Nicholas, and I, and we had just ourselves to worry about, but it's totally different whenever you have kids, small kids at that. So we're just trying to make sure that we do our due diligence by them and by our family and our home to make sure everything is taken care of and well stewarded. Our home is also in a bit of disarray right now because we are on the downhill slide of Christmas. So we are currently in Christmastide. If you missed my last video, it explains a little bit more about how the 12 days of Christmas actually start on Christmas Day and then run through January 6th. If you aren't familiar with that, feel free to check out that video. It gives some fun activities to do with kids during this time as well. So we're definitely trying to continue enjoying Christmas, but all of the Christmas events have ended. They've all been completed and tied and have a bow on them, and so now we have all of these boxes from presents. We are so very blessed, but we're just trying to get things. It's been raining since Christmas Day, so we're just trying to get our house back in order and our life back squared up a little bit, if you will. We've had dishes in the sink piling up because we also have a very small child, our baby Annie. She has been so sick for several days and she's coming out of the woods now, but it has just been a rough go. So far the toddler has not, Rosie, she's not had any of the symptoms that we've seen, but Nicholas and myself both had it prior to Christmas, and then thankfully Christmas Day we kind of had a break from all of it, and we thought maybe the girls weren't going to get hit with it, and then the day after Christmas Annie got it. So we have just been dealing with that on top of all the other things, and this incoming weather has just kind of hastened my need to the urgency for me to really get things back in order. So she was sleeping a lot during the filming of this, and I was able to knock out a lot of the things that needed to be done, as well as get Rosie and I some outside time. We have been pent up in the house a good bit, which I know is definitely not my first choice. I believe that it is so crucial for children to have outside time, but also for adults. It's that it does something to us, like our senses and our emotions, our hormones. It regulates us in such a way that really nothing else can. I mean, whenever we're in a pinch and we just cannot go outside, I will encourage the girls to play in the bathtub for a while, and that seems to help as well. But outside it just does something different. I would ideally, in a perfect world, moving into 2024, and I'll talk a little bit about some of my goals and desires and hopes for the upcoming new year later on in this video, but I would really ideally love to have a fence around at least some portion of our yard. We live on 1 acre. It's flat and it's all so usable. I am so grateful for this property that we have been blessed with, but it is on the corner of 2 very busy roads, and so whenever it's just me and one of the girls outside, I'm still able to like contribute to the work around the home. On the outside of our home, that is, I'm able to help rake leaves or, do things with the chickens, give them water, food, clean out the coop, whatever that may be. But whenever they're both out there with me, I really have to be alert and keep my eyes peeled at all times. So I'm really hoping that at some point we can at least fence in a small portion of the yard in order for them to be able to run and play freely and not have to hear the word no, like just to have a yes space. That is one of my deepest desires because, again, I if you don't know this, I teach half day at their preschool, and I see the effects of children being outdoors, being able to run and explore nature and just all of the sounds and life happening around them through animals and the wind and the sun and all of these things. It creates such creativity within them. Like, it stirs up so much that man-made house just can't. Like, no matter how creative our spaces are inside, there's just something different that happens when we're out and about. So recently, Nicholas changed jobs, and he is now working for his family business in electrical work. So depending on where they are working for their job that day, every now and then he'll get to stop in for lunch. And we absolutely love it when Daddy comes home for lunch. So that's what happened on this particular day. He actually brought a pizza with him that his brother had left over from a youth event they had done the night before. So that was a really nice surprise as well. Usually for lunch, the girls and I just rely on either leftovers or we do like Lunchables, like homemade Lunchables, with lunch meat, cheese, crackers, usually a cookie on the side or something. And sometimes, maybe like the classic SpaghettiOs or whatever. I mean, we're just kind of in that phase of life. For those who don't know, I don't know how many, a lot probably don't know, but Nicholas and I both got our bachelor's degrees in business management, and so I don't really know at the time that I understood why. I just thought this is very universal, it's very broad, I don't know what I want to do or what field I want to go into for work after college. All that I knew is that I wanted to be in the home at some point. I really just wanted to be a homemaker. Like, even in college, I remember sitting on the porch of the Baptist Collegiate Ministry house that I was a part of. I was sitting on the front porch with some friends, and we were all doing our homework out there and rocking and just like overlooking the campus. And I just said, why can't they make a degree for home management? Like, that's all that I want to do, is manage a home and know how to do it well. And even still, I'm saying that, like, where are the courses that teach me the things I am slowly learning through like trial and error? But I got my degree in business management, like I said, not knowing at all at the time what that would be for, and it's being revealed to me over time, I think. But it's really neat how the Lord works, because so far it feels like this YouTube channel is combining my love for both. So it's combining my like business entrepreneurial mind along with my passion and desire and love for homemaking. And, it's a slow process because I'm learning so much about both as we go. And you're coming along with me, and I'm so grateful for that. But at the same time, it's not like I'm not also trying to figure out the motherhood piece of my life. I'm also very new to that and fumbling my way through it. So all of this is kind of taking place behind the scenes of me and my girls. Like, I'm working on editing and content creation and ideas and things like that on like during their nap times and after bedtime and like whenever I can, basically. And I know that the Lord doesn't make mistakes, but sometimes I find myself asking, like, why didn't I come across this opportunity 4 or 5 years ago whenever I was first married and really wanting to stay home, but felt like I had to stay in the workforce and didn't have kids yet, and just all of these things whenever I had so much more free time than I even realized I did. But I also realized that YouTube is not the same now as what it was 5 years ago. So again, I just trust that by focusing on the things that I really feel in my heart I've been called to in this season, which namely right now are focusing on my home, focusing on my girls, focusing on my marriage. Those are the priorities right now, and whatever else I have time for, I'm trying to give my heart to those things as well, but trusting that the Lord is working behind the scenes in all of it, and that He can do far more in His strength and power than I could ever do on my own. So in short, as I go into 2024, I am striving for a few things as far as YouTube goes, I have a lot of goals and ideas, but personally, I am really striving to keep a slow and steady heart. I saw that phrase used by Sally Clarkson the other day on Instagram, and that's just what I want to be for my home, for my girls, for my husband. I want to be a slow and steady heart that listens, that looks people in the eyes, that gets down on the floor and spends time with my people, and just really takes the time to slow down and like truly live from a toddler perspective. If you have ever spent time around a toddler, then you have seen them just be captivated by the seemingly most simple things in life to those of us who are far beyond that stage. And just the excitement that they get over a loved one coming home and pulling into the driveway, or, you know, just the way that like they go hard in everything that they do. They laugh hard, they rest hard, they play hard, they cry hard. You know, I don't necessarily care to do that part, but in general, I just really want to live more of a lifestyle that resembles like a more mature, obviously, as far as handling emotions and behaviors, but a very similar lifestyle to what my girls are showing me every single day. All right, and then very quickly for the emergency preparedness piece of this video, because I've been jabbering about other things for far too long, I could do probably an entire video on this kind of stuff, though it's really my husband's, like, he's the one that got us into nerding out on this stuff. But in my mind, there are like 5 categories for short-term emergency preparedness that I like to just go through the checklist of on our storage shelves and make sure that we have what we need. So I'm just going to run through those really quickly. The first one is medications. I just want to make sure that we have like pain relief medications. You know, obviously we do some oils and things like that. I'm not going to get too into this because I try to do things as naturally as possible. But if you're in an emergency, then there's a good chance that you're just going to need like what you have and what you have access to. If it's bad enough to need meds, then it's bad enough to just use what you have on hand. So anyways, that's all that I'll say about that for now. Heat source, we actually had gas logs installed for, that was like our Christmas present to each other. That's how you know you're getting old. But that was one of the things we were most excited about when we moved into this house. Our previous house we absolutely loved, but it just had electric, like an electric fireplace. There was not an option for gas or wood or anything like that. And this one had a fireplace with gas hardy run to it. It had previously, before the gas line was ran, had wood burning logs, and so we knew that there was, you know, the option for either, and we just stuck with gas because we figured it would be cleaner and just simpler, since the gas line was already in place, to go ahead and go that route. And we really only use it when the power's out, or at least that's our goal. We've not used it yet other than just trying it out. So with that, made sure that we had a couple of lighters on hand. And then moving on, we have the light source category. So we have flashlights ready. We also have, I did a battery inventory. We have like every size of batteries. And that's how we like it, because, you know, you just always need batteries when you have little kids, and also when you need flashlights. Canned goods, we were running low on like soups, which is, we have a Coleman stove with like butane fuel that we use when we go camping, but we also use it when the power's out to cook our food on. So I didn't check the butane fuel, but I'm fairly certain we had like 3 cans of that on hand already. So I went ahead and got some canned goods whenever I did a grocery pickup to help stock that, because we were running quite low on our canned goods. But now we have soups and, you know, just beans and different things. We keep a large bag of rice for our long-term emergency preparedness, and then I also have like those dry goods in the pantry that we could use as well. And then lastly is water. So we have like a jug and a half of water on the shelf that we can use. You can use it for a lot of things, but in a short-term situation, it would most likely just be used for cooking, boiling, you know, things like that. But then we also, for long-term, have some other methods of water. We definitely want to do like a rain catch system, but we've not set that up yet. So there's a lot of things that kind of tie into the overall homestead that we're seeking to create here, but I just wanted to quickly share what it is that I made sure we had for this upcoming storm. Storm, that's funny. It's not going to be a storm, but for the upcoming chance of potential snow flurries. So to wrap up, I just wanted to leave a little quote with you by Alyssa at the Little Way Chapel. She said, "The season of Christmastide always highlights how vastly different it is to keep time with God rather than the world. While others take down their trees and put away their decorations, we continue to bask in the warm glow of lights, rejoicing that the light of the world has come. While others set their minds on New Year's diet plans and health resolutions, we continue to feast, rejoicing in the knowledge that our very God became flesh, deeming our bodies good. While others resume a hectic pace of shopping and organizing and checking things off to-do lists, we settle in and celebrate, knowing that the incarnation is way too wonderful," I added the way, "is too wonderful to contain to just one day. It's a beautiful thing to keep time with God, my friends. So here's to another year of it." And I just love that. Like, no shame if you're already taking down your Christmas tree. There's a large part of me that really wants to. But with all that's going on in life, I just wanted to encourage you to slow down in this very moment, if you're able, and focus on, I guess it's just always a time of reflecting, going into a new year. You know, you look back on the past year, you look at where you've come from, how far you've gone, and how far you want to go from here. So I just hope that time seems to slow a little bit for you right now, and that you have a wonderful rest of your day wherever you're at. And I'll catch you later. Bye, guys.